All right. So good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Bonsoir. Who's here? Count up. 1, 2, 3. That guy went off the screen already. Am I going to have to do that again? Okay.
You've waited for a long time.
Just hold on, Leon. I'll be right with you. All right. So let's do the roll. Haley. Haley Adams. Good morning.
Good morning.
And this is your first time here.
This is my first time.
So you'll have to warn her about it. Yeah. So you're part of this class then?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're glad you're here. Welcome. How about, where's Joshua? Joshua, there he is. Is Kaylin here? Kaylin Butler? Ah, I thought you were hanging with Kaylin because she hasn't been here yet either. Amy Carpenter. Amy's right here in front of me. How was your weekend? It's good? A little quiet this morning, Amy. You're what?
I'm tired.
Oh, you're tired. I thought she said she was high.
Oh.
I'm like, maybe I went to the wrong party. I'm sorry. Oh, McGalley? McGalley. Good morning. Mr. Curry, Evans, right here in front of me. Michael Davis is right here with his Pink Floyd shirt on. Dark Side of the Moon fan? I like Animals, my favorite Pink Floyd album. That puts me in the minority. But the album Animals is like, that was mine. The song Dogs, I could listen to that song like 10 times in a row. It's 20 minutes long, it's like, put that on. Because it's got a line of, you've got to be crazy. You got to have a real need. I'm like, okay, let me write that down. You got to move on. So, anyway, good to see you. Rachel, where's Miss Flake? There she is. And what did you drop? What did you drop? Your thermos, canteen, something?
It's a hydro glass.
Looks like a fire extinguisher, man. Okay. Casey, Miss Casey, there you are. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm not used to teaching this class in the afternoon. It's always been a morning class. Tamaya. Miss Harris, where are you? Oh my. Well, that's 2 in a row for Tamaya. Maybe she didn't like me at that first class. Kayon Haynes? She's not here today? She's what?
She didn't feel good.
She didn't feel good? Well, let's hope she gets better. Christian Helms. Mr. Helms. Yeah, I don't think he likes this class. He hasn't been here yet. All right. Cassidy. Ah, there you are. Cassidy, I should know that by now. I should know your name is Cassidy. Amy. Haley. I'm really bad at names. In fact, I'm horrific at names. I've been teaching for 40 years, and I'm bad at names. Haven. Alicia. Here. Alicia, right? Alicia? As opposed to Alicia? Alicia. Jameson Lindsay. Jameson. Yes, sir. Tay. Where's Tay? Ah, there you are. Is that right? Tay? You want a Tay? Yes. Because if it was like, the guys from Atlanta, they'd be like, Tay-ya. You know, what's the name? Some 2000? It's the guy who did the song Hey Ya.
Outcast.
Yeah, Outcast. You're right. Yeah. So instead of, yeah, yes. So then it would have been Tay-ya, but we'll go with Tay. Zaquan is here. Good morning, Zach. Jacqueline Seacrest. Yes, good morning. Amaya? Good morning. Get your hair done over the weekend.
Yeah, I lost it.
I like it. You have to understand, at one time, I had a flat top. Sweet too, man. I mean, I had that bad boy. You could land an aircraft on that bad boy. It's flat. Waxed up the side, platinum blonde, and then it went almost halfway down my back. I had 5 different colors. I was my own parade, man. I was pride. I was the king of pride before there was even pride. I was doing Siegfried and Roy in Las Vegas. I was married to my first wife was a hairdresser, so my hair was a complete experiment, which is why I had a long hair. Mr. Tomberlin, John, there he is. And Ms. Woodward? Yes. Is it Naya? Is that how you say it? Naya? Perfect. All right. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about today is this actual process of listening to music. You wouldn't think that this would be hard or something that we would talk about. So let's listen to the bow tie here. I kind of like this one though, actually, and think about that, and then we'll go on from there.
Miller Theater Union in years past. Basically, the idea is to try to give the audience an idea of the context and the character of the piece in a way which would inform their listening without guiding it. You know, there's a whole generation of music education videos or programs. Leonard Bernstein pioneered them with the Young People's Concerts. Michael Tilson Thomas is a series with the San Francisco. Now, a lot of those programs try to explain the piece. Take a Beethoven Symphony, Beethoven Fifth Symphony, and which everybody knows, and try to explain how it's put together. So it's as if you had a video on auto mechanics and someone took the car apart. They showed you here are the pistons, and here is the wheel, and here's the tire, and here's the starter, and here are the electronics, this is the transmission, and this is how it works, and teach you some basic physics on why the car moves, so that you can learn something about why the car actually moves and works and how it works. So that's one way of doing it. We don't do that. What we do is something different. We don't try to simplify a complex subject like music theory, or music form, which is a lot of technical vocabulary, which most people don't know. Once upon a time, everybody went to, piano lessons in the middle class audience, and they knew a little bit about, could read music sort of, and they could play the piano, so they knew the difference between major and minor, and you could use some technical vocabulary. That's gone. Most people who grew up with pop music and rock music, they play, they do it by ear, they improvise, they don't know any theory, they don't know any lingo. So what do you want to talk to them about? They're educated people. You want to talk about the things that they are interested in that connect to music. So we talk about the politics of the period in which the piece was written. We'll talk about the relationship to literature, to art, to the problems in its composition, in what the piece did for the composer biographically, where it comes from in the composer's lifetime, what the relationship between music and other issues. They can be philosophical, they can be political, they can be poetic. Also what's innovative. So in the case of a very well-known piece like Fifth Symphony, you want to show a little bit how the piece is put together in order to show why Beethoven is special, what has made this piece so famous. And what's the key to its popularity? Why do people think the piece represents victory? Why do they think the piece represents something that's military? Why did Peter Schickele, the composer who is a humorist, narrate a football game, as using the first movement of the Beethoven Fifth as a soundtrack? Why did the Allies use the opening bars as a symbol of victory? Why did this piece become an icon? So you do explain a little bit about how the piece is put together, but you talk more about thinking about ways of thinking about the piece. Because you don't want to tell the audience how to listen. I'm always offended by program explanations or notes that sort of say, well, here comes a trumpet tune, and then it changes key, and then there's a variation. So the poor listeners are looking for what someone has taught her or him to look at. So it's as if I take a boat around Manhattan, instead of leaving me to look around to see, I might look at the sky, I might look at the water. Instead, I'm looking, they told me there's the Empire State Building, so I'm waiting for the Empire State Building to arrive. Then they go around the bend, and they tell me, well, there's the United Nations, I'm waiting for the United Nations to arrive. Well, I might as well stay at home, I haven't seen anything on my own. It's like what you don't want to turn music listening to tourism. Tourism is a fraud. You buy a little guidebook, and it tells you to go see the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and that's all they see. The best thing to do is throw the guidebook away and just go for a walk. Discover the place for yourself. So what we try to help the person discover stuff and think about stuff without giving them answers.
And that's how I run this course. I'm not going to tell you what you should listen for. I'm not going to say, okay, this is coming up, aliens, so let's get ready. You're going to love this. No. No. I want you to discover it on your own. I want you to hear the music the way you want to hear it, the way it comes across to you. And I'll prove it to you. Everybody in this room has a different favorite color. Everybody has a different favorite song. Everybody has a different favorite this and a different favorite that. Why? Because you're all individuals. So if you run into musicians and they say, well, you're going to love this because this and this and this and this and this and this, you might as well not even listen to it. It's already been explained to you. It's like, oh, wait, say that again? Well, it's this and this and this and that. Okay, I got it. I don't even want to listen to it now. You know, it's just like I said, well, you like Dark Side, I like Animals. Why? Because this and this. That's what it does for me. It's different for you. So I'm going to try and give you, in this class, tools that you can use to have a better life. That's cool. I like that. That sounds good. And you know what? My students tell me in the evaluations over the years that I did just that. So I got this class pretty much down. So we'll just follow along, and everyone will be like, oh, this is cool. Raise your hand if you have questions at any time. In this class, all questions are welcome. In this class, all opinions are equal. In this class, everyone has the same value, and it is of high value. Have you read the syllabus? Have you been on Moodle? Okay, read the syllabus. Read that thing down there in italics on the last words. There's a very heavy paragraph between the syllabus and the class schedule. Make sure you read that. Okay, do the what do you call it? Startup activity? Yeah, startup activity. Who has not completed the startup activity? Wow, did you do it too? Oh, see, you're good. All right, welcome to our class. Okay, so did everything that he just said, did that make sense? I mean, really, you get on a boat, you pay $50 to drive around Manhattan on the Hudson and then the East River. You want to just kind of check it out yourself. Man, you might not even want to look at it, but you'd be like, okay, where did Scully land that plan down? It's like, really? We're right. This is about where that jet came down and landed on the river. That's what I'd be looking for. It's like, how do you do that? Had to come over to Washington Bridge and put a jet down so smooth that it didn't sink immediately, or it didn't, you know, it's like, how'd that work? You know, forget about the buildings. I'll look at them after a while. I'm on the river. I was like, how do you put a jet plane down on a river? Because he did it. And nobody died. Everybody got off the plane, got a little wet, whatever, go on shore, get a blanket, get a cocktail. Get 2 or 3 cocktails, because you just were in a miracle, baby. I mean, come on. So that's what music is. The way you hear music is different than the way she hears music. But there are these components, or these things. So, we talked about that last class, so let's get to it. So let's start with rhythm first. Because there's things about rhythm that we all want to know. All right, so rhythm is the engine that moves music. That was our definition, yes? Well, there's different kinds of rhythms. So we talked a little bit about that, right? We talked about this idea of the number 2, and we called this a duple. And then we had the number 3, and we called that triple. Now, this is the part of the class where Mr. Smith is so helpful. This is a good place for you to pull out a pencil and a piece of paper and write this stuff down. Because these are test questions. So again, the duple rhythm might be this. If I had my drum set here, it'd be something like this. it's all based on 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So all divisible by 2. But then when we talk about triple, we get into that shuffle, that blues. Where it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That. And so what we're talking about here is meter. And the textbook tends to be a little stiff about this stuff. And so to loosen it up, to give the book a little bit of a feel, what we're talking about is emotion. If you hear music that is in a 2 duple feel, emotionally it will affect you differently than music that's in a triple feel. It just will. You know, scientists have been studying this stuff like the last 20 years or stuff, and then you have music degrees now. You can have a music therapy degree. You know, so if you want to chill people out, you know, you're not going to play speed metal. You know, you're not going to play music that's in 2, as a 2 feel. It's like, you know, drive. It's like, okay, everybody, settle down. Oh, I feel good, so much better. I'm really relaxed now. No, you want to settle down? Settle down, boy. Oh yeah, settle down. Take it easy. You go for a triple. Why? Because your heart beats in a triple. If you don't believe me, feel your heart. Dun, 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Makes you feel good. You can't help it. You hear a triple meter rhythm, and your attitude, no matter what it is, you're going to get happy. You're going to relax a little bit. Tell the boss, okay, I got it, boss. Cool. Go away. You got it. Guy beats his wife. What are you going to say? You know, this guy's a jerk. Fine. I got a triple beat. I'm good. It's proven. It's proven. Triple meter, you feel good. Duple meter brings anxiety. It's a fact. We're talking about meter. All right, so we talked about the speed of music. That has something to do with it. Somebody tell me what we call that. There's a word for it. The speed of music. Tempo. So even if the triple meter is fast, it's still going to make you feel good. Tempo is the speed of music. All right? What else do we need? When we're talking about music, we got the tempo now. What else do we need? I'll give you a hint. I'll whisper. Or I can go the opposite way. Speak real loud! Right, there you go. That scared him. Right? What are we talking about? We're talking about volume. Okay? It's called dynamics. The word is dynamics. Here's my favorite example to talk about on this.
5 days ago, my best friend went missing.
She's an enigma, my wife.
Emily, if you're out there, we're...
That distance between those two notes, that dun 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 dun, that's a half step interval. So what happens is, all of you in this room, how many have never seen the film Jaws? Never seen it? You've never seen it? No. You're emphatic. No. Why not? You think you'd be scared? Yes, you would. Right, you'd never go near it again. Exactly. Steven Spielberg made that movie. He was 27 years old. He hasn't been in the ocean since. Because he said, in his own words, he says, I know that shark is out there, and he wants me. How many of you think that's scary music? Really? I'm only getting this? Usually every hand goes up. Does that sound like a happy song? No. No. It sounds like something bad's gonna happen. Yeah, this really hot chick is in the ocean and she's getting ready to be dinner for a 25-foot great white shark. And you're sitting in there and you're in the movie theater. Holy moly! My first wife almost took my left arm off. We were just dating in high school then. She had a grip of my arm so tight that it was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to get that worked on. She was scared to death, and she grew up on the water. Her dad had a boat on Chesapeake Bay. She's about to lose her mind because she knew what was coming. And that music, dun, 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 dun. Steven Spielberg also says that John Williams' score, who's the man who wrote that, he says that the movie was a success because of the music. He goes, if I don't have that music at the beginning of the movie, it's just a comic, it's just a joke, it's a cartoon. But you're 30 seconds into this movie and you're about to lose your mind. People are crawling. People were actually running out of the theater and throwing up in the lobby. They were so scared. And the only part of the shark you see was the fin. You don't even see the shark until like an hour into the movie. You see what he did. You see the girl being dragged under the water. You know, this was an Olympic swimmer, and they had her tied up, and they were like dragging her back and forth in the water to get these shots. Fascinating how they did it. But it's the music. It's the music. Hold on. And part of that music is what? Well, it starts out soft. Builds up, right? It's all part of it. So what else? So we got tempo, we got dynamics. What else did the book talk about? Well, let's go back to the core of rhythm. rhythm is the engine, but it's got parts. Just like a car, it's like, well, what drives a car? Well, you gotta have an engine. Okay, well, inside the engine of music, inside this rhythm, you have these components. What's the smallest component? Is in the book. There is this little word. Rhythm is made up of a series of. No. No, we're talking just rhythm. Amy's got it. Maybe? John, what do you got? What's rhythm made up of? You got to have these to make up the rhythm. Okay, what's another word for notes? What? What? Beats. Who's saying beats? Beats is right. The smallest part of rhythm is a beat. So when I was clapping my hands in the two, right, I'm going. So if I just go this, if I just go, that's one beat. And if I go, that's two beats. And if I go, that's four beats. A beat is that smallest part of rhythm. What's the textbook's got it? This is one time I read a textbook, I like it. It says, beats provide the basic unit of measurement for time in music. Yeah, I like that. The basic unit of time and measurement of music. So you can measure music sort of like a math problem. You just add up all the beats. Okay? All right. So, what else we got? Well, let's go to the melody now. And I want to put another picture up here. I'm going to bring that down. And what I'm going to put on the screen is a piano keyboard. All right. Now notice that the letter C is on four of the keys. Well, here's what you need to know about music. All right. As you look at this, notice how there's two black keys, then there's three, then there's two, then there's three, and then there's two, and there's three. And the reason for that is if we start here at this C, and we just stay on the white keys, it'd be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It just keeps repeating all the way. A through G, A through G, A through G, A through G. And the reason for that is that when we go back to 1200 years ago, and the Roman Catholic Church in the Western world was having these monks sing these very simple melodies, those black keys didn't exist. they were basically just using 7 notes. Music wasn't organized 1,000 years ago like it is now. So with that in mind, let's do this. I'm going to go over here. You can tell there's a billion of these things on YouTube, all created by these historians and so forth. But it's they took the one